Hello everyone, my name is Audrey Holder and I am an anthropology major and environmental studies minor, and I'm from Covington, Georgia. So first and foremost, my IS is titled Meet Your Vegetables, an exploration into food sustainability on a small liberal arts campus. So just to dive right in, just as a brief introduction to my independent study and why I wanted to do this and what compelled me to do this. Basically, there is a lack of research that looks at food sustainability on college campuses, and even further than that, meat is a very controversial part of this discussion in food sustainability, and is often very overlooked as a part of food sustainability. And I really wanted to look at how college students conceptualize food sustainability, is meat a part of that conceptualization, and do these ideas and thoughts about food sustainability change over time at college? Um, just to give a little bit of background as to why meat is such an important aspect of sustainability, currently the livestock industry creates 14.5% of global greenhouse gases, and creates a little over 3% of greenhouse gases in the US alone. It has also become one of the largest sources of water pollution in the US, due to runoff from large livestock farms into local rivers and streams, which impacts the people there. And this really reflects how the livestock industry is causing problems globally, locally, and how it contributes to a lot of sustainability issues happening in our world today. So for my IS, I wanted to look at a particular college in the Midwest that places a high priority on sustainability, and I hypothesized that the students' views at this college would change over time about food sustainability, specifically when looking at meat, and that it would change due to the amount of education that they receive on these topics. I also wanted to see how students would react to proposed meatless days, and I hypothesized that various different groups would react very differently to these proposed changes. So in order to look at the complexity of human nature of a college student and sustainability, I looked at two theorists who I believe really illuminate my study of small college campuses and sustainability. The two theoretical frameworks that I used were culture and power and food relations, and also the four components of sustainable campus food projects. The framework of culture and power and food relations is based off of Sidney Mintz's Tasting Food, Tasting Freedom, Excursions into Eating, Culture in the Past, where he explores food as a central element of expression in all cultures and asserts that choices of food are shaped by a vast and increasingly complex global economy. The four components of sustainable campus food projects were from Peggy F. Bartlett's pieces Campus Sustainable Food Projects, Critique and Engagement, and Reason and Reenactment in Cultural Change, Sustainability in Higher Education. These two theorists are important to my IS because they provided a broad basis for the relationship between food and people, and also between food and sustainability. So for this study, I decided that the best way to gather data at this college in the Midwest was through a survey sent out to the body of students who attend that college, and also to interview key people at that college. The survey that I sent out to students was designed for students to take in a timely manner, yet to effectively gather the data that I needed to proceed with my research. The survey was only about 6 questions long, so that students would be able to answer concisely and not have to take 30 minutes or more to complete it. I figured that not every student has that time to devote to it, so I really just wanted to set up the survey in a manner that was concise and easy for students to answer, but still effectively gathered data. So the survey was set up to specifically look at how individual class years, such as seniors, juniors, sophomores, and first years, viewed food sustainability at their college. It also asked them their opinions on having a meatless day once a week in the dining spaces around campus. And I examined this data based on class cohorts to see the overall consensus of what each class year thinks about food sustainability at the college. I received a varying range of answers from short one-word answers to well thought out paragraphs, which was incredibly interesting and something that I will talk a little bit more about later. For the interviews that I conducted, they were all formal interviews, and what this means is that they were more structured and had thought out questions, and both myself and the person that I was interviewing knew the course that we were going on. And I chose to conduct formal interviews because I really wanted to have a more in-depth understanding of the various questions and opinions of the people that I was interviewing. I chose people to interview based on their positionality at the college, so I interviewed 2 students, one of whom was the president of an environmental sustainability club on campus, and the other was a member of the student body council. I also interviewed 2 professors, both of whom teach various sustainability courses at that college. And then I also interviewed the head of dining services. I chose these people to interview because I felt as though they would provide me with the most accurate sustainability happenings around campus, and also give me a more in-depth look into what food sustainability means at the college. So moving on to talk about the various data and results that I uncovered, out of the 154 students who took my survey, 36% of them were seniors, 24% of them were juniors, 17% of them were sophomores, and 29% of them were first years. These 2 different pie charts reflect the answers that I got to the questions of, do you think food consumption such as meat is an important aspect of sustainability, and how supportive would you be of having a meatless day one day of every week? Out of 154 students, 74% confirmed that they do think that food consumption is a part of sustainability, and 69% of these students said that they would be in support of having a meatless day on campus. So for the question of food consumption as a part of sustainability, I gave students the opportunity to explain their thoughts about food sustainability and why they answered how they did. And most often when analyzing these responses, I could tell what the student's class year was based on the length of the response. So seniors most often gave the longest responses, typically in 3 sentences or more, while first years answered most often within 1 to 2 sentences. I also noticed that an overwhelming amount of students who indicated that they did not want a meatless day were self-proclaimed male athletes, and cited the fact that they specifically need meat for protein. So from the data from the survey and the analysis of the interviews, I concluded several different things. So first of all, although this study was a case study done at a particular college in the Midwest, I've made general discoveries that I believe can apply to several other schools and their student populations. For example, there is a high correlation between class year and increased display of knowledge about food sustainability. So it stands to reason that at any college, the more that a student attends that college and is educated on a topic, the more knowledge that they will have on that topic. Additionally, I believe that meat is a symbol of masculinity and a status to many male athletes. And therefore, the idea that they have an aversion to meatless days or plant-based alternatives can be generalized to male varsity athletes at most schools. And again, this is reflected through my analysis of the survey, where most of the people who had an aversion to the meatless day did say that they were male athletes. And this idea of meat symbolizing masculinity and status in the subculture of male athleticism relates to Sydney Mintz's discussion on culture and food power relations. So I also created a list of recommendations for not only this particular college to implement, but for other colleges to implement as well. The first one is to have a meatless day. I like alliterations, so I thought Meatless Monday was pretty clever. And this can be implemented to help reduce the amount of meat that a college consumes and purchases. Then additionally, I also recommended that every student take a required course on sustainability. This is something that I understand would be a little bit more difficult to enact, but I think it is a necessary step to take if a college truly wants to pursue having a sustainable campus. In many scenarios, educating people on a topic is the best way to change their minds and would make less consumption of meat about the planet and not about the diet of the student, and therefore wouldn't make the students feel as though they are being attacked. My third recommendation is that students work more in a campus garden, and not just students who are environmental study majors or minors should be encouraged to work more in a campus garden if a college has that, because this would cause students to feel more pride in where their food is being sourced and would allow them to know that the effort that they put into the garden is resulting in something that they can take ownership in. So that concludes my presentation about my IS. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something. Thank you so much. Also, here are the particular works cited that I used in this presentation. Thank you.